Hey everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Teri Hunter. I'm an intuitive astrologer, and I'm here today to talk about the full moon in Libra, which is happening on April 5th, 2023 at 9:34 p.m. Pacific time. Normally, I would do readings for each one of the signs. I would go through the aspects for you, but I think there's a bigger something going on with this full moon. It is the seventh consecutive full moon at 16 degrees. If you play with numerology, you'll start to see a pattern. The 16 reduces down to a 7. 1 plus 6 equals 7. The year 2023 reduces down to a 7. The Libra full moon is in the 7th house. And I believe what we're seeing is an opportunity for us to start to implement more balance and more harmony in our lives as we understand the need for contrasting experiences, the need for dynamics in our lives that provide contrasts so that we can define more clearly what is important to us. Oftentimes, the human feels a sense of exhilaration and achievement when they've walked through their fears or when they've accomplished something that they did not necessarily believe they could accomplish. So there is a very strong purpose to our more challenging experiences and what some people deem negativity. I want to offer this too, because when I started to see this pattern of these full moons, the 16 number in the tarot deck represents the Tower card. And for me, the Tower card is very Uranian. If you look at it, there are lightning bolts on it. The people are flying off of their tower and unexpected things have happened. This full moon is in an opposition to Uranus. Uranus is at 17 degrees. It's not actually an opposition. It's a quincunx. It's a 150-degree angle where there are things that you cannot quite see. It's like a blind side. So Uranus is kind of sitting around the corner from what we can see with our direct sight. And I believe what this is going to do is create epiphanies. It's going to create this sort of thought where I'm like, wow, maybe I'm a more powerful co-creator than I've given myself credit for. Maybe through this series of full moons, we've had an opportunity to look at each one of the first 7 houses, because the first full moon at 16 degrees was in October in the Aries full moon. And then we went Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, and now Libra. I can't help but notice this is the whole personal experience that the soul has before it goes into the upper hemisphere and their actions become more public, or the focus becomes on a larger group of people. When we're in the first house, we're discovering ourselves, our movements, our body. When we're in the second house, we're discovering our skills and our voice. And when we're in the third house, we're discovering how the first 2 houses intermingle with our neighborhoods, our communities, our siblings. Then we go into the home environment, and how it has affected our sense of confidence, our sense of co-creation. Then we go into the idea of going into Leo, where we're standing in leadership and exercising our desires. We've started to discern what brings us joy and what brings us pleasure, and how we want to put our skills and our talents out for people to see. That's why they call the 5th house the performer, the clown. And then we go into the 6th house of health and of service to others. And when I say service to others, as I define it, it's how I show up in the world and how I move through the world offers people, as they experience me, an opportunity to observe themselves from a different point of view. Sometimes when I first started learning astrology and they would talk about Virgo being the house of slavery, it made me feel like I was doing something I didn't want to do. and that could very well be in the old human structure. But we've been breaking down that structure very obviously for the last 2 years, at least since 2020, if not before that. And so for me, as I'm observing this series of events, because this full moon in Libra is at 9:34 p.m. Pacific time, that reduces down to a 7. And I'm seeing 7s everywhere. And, if you're gambling in Vegas, they'll call it lucky number 7. But in numerology, the number 7 is discernment. It is a way of viewing my earthly experience, my human experience, from a place of intellect and from a more observatory versus emotional place. And what I think is going on here with this full moon is that we are, as I said, waking up from our slumber, realizing that our thoughts are things, that they're powerful, that they co-create our experience. At the very least, they co-create where our attention goes. Because when we're focused on something, we seem to see it pop up all over our world. So I think it's very important at this particular time, at this particular moon, rather than looking at it individually, to sort of look at the pattern that is being offered to us as we start to innovate the human structure to catch up with all the technological advances and opportunities that this age has afforded us. This is a time, I believe, to stand up for our own harmony, our own sense of balance, our own sense of understanding how the dark serves the light. This background that I'm using would not be as beautiful if it didn't have the darkness with which the colors can dance upon. And I think that's what's going on with this particular full moon. I believe that it is the culmination of a 7-month cycle of being aware. There are 7 chakras. There are 7 wonders of the world. This is huge. And I think it's huge because as we pay attention to the patterns that we see, we can start to extract the higher vibrations of those patterns. And when I think about the idea of Libra, Libra finds fairness on both sides. It's kind of the sign that looks at the human experience as the divine does. There is no right, there is no wrong, there is no beginning, and there is no end. It's a constant series of choices that either support the things that we want to experience, or it's a line of thought that actually disempowers us from that experience. And the reason I think that these full moons have been so important is because full moons are the ending. It's a culmination of a cycle. It is when the light is brightest and we can see most clearly during the dark. So I believe that there is this theme of how do I want to experience this planet? Am I showing up for me? Am I trusting my intuitive body? Am I nurturing myself? The 16th degree is the Cancer degree. Cancer rules our intuition. It rules our home, where we feel safe, where we feel embraced, or at least theoretically feel embraced. It is where we nurture others, but we also are only as effective at nurturing others as we are able to nurture and give permission to ourselves to take time to rest, to take time to replenish our bodies, to take time to play. And that's why I think that Leo is the house right after Cancer. There's to me, there's a wisdom behind the order of things, the way we walk through them when we're super young. I'm not that young anymore, but when we're under 30 or maybe even under 40, we're very invested in how other people perceive our success, our lives, how we're doing. And then you get to a certain point and you stop caring so much about how other people feel, and you want to feel at peace with yourself. You want to feel enjoyment with your own preferences. And I feel like this is what these 7 full moons have been doing. It's like we've been young and we've been experiencing all of this stretching ourselves in these different dynamics. And now this is about us as individuals, supporting our own balance, supporting our harmony, making choices within our relationships, whether they're personal, professional, familiar, or just sort of acquaintances. How do we want to be? How do we want to show up? And when we're aware of that, we can see how the universe supports that endeavor, and it brings more high-minded, more higher vibrational experiences to us, because that's where our focus is going. And in the Libra energy, there is a knowing, an understanding that when we feel out of balance, it's an opportunity to implement more balance. I really think of the seventh house. A lot of people talk about marriage. A lot of people talk about partnerships, and they forget a lot about the diplomacy and the harmony and the peace that is fostered here. The seventh house is ruled by Venus. Venus rules beauty and art and comfort, cozy pillows and blankets, a good meal, laughter and good music. And I think all of these things are things that the human is becoming more and more aware that these are not luxuries. Actually, they're the reasons that we come here, to experience the playfulness of this planet. And so today, when I decided to do this video, I felt more compelled to talk about the pattern. I felt more inspired by the pattern. I'm a Libra sun and I'm an Aries rising. So this full moon is very much me. The sun is in Aries, the moon is in Libra, and together they will shine a bright light on who you are and what you want to be for yourself. And while you discover that with joyous laughter and exuberation, you will find that you bring a healthier version of yourself into all your partnerships, all your interactions with others. And I really want to emphasize the idea that the 16th degree is about self-care. It is about putting myself at a priority as much as I would anything else. My job, the deadlines I have to meet, the schedules for my children and getting them to their soccer practice or getting them to school on time, or all these things that we run around our everyday lives sort of playing beat the clock. And I think here this full moon is offering us an opportunity to write our own clock. The structure of time is man-made. It's so that we can operate on this planet in a way that allows us to feel the empowerment of our own intentions. The need for structure here is important to our manifestation, but too much structure feels like a prison. So I feel as if this full moon is really encouraging each one of us to look where we are purporting balance in our lives, where we are taking enough time to take care of ourselves so that we are better able to be available both in our heart, in our mind, and in our body for others. When we get into next month, we will have we'll have a Scorpion eclipse. The next full moon is a Scorpio eclipse. And I believe that's at 14 degrees. So the pattern of the 16 is broken. But what I do think is going to happen is that eclipse is going to bring in fated events that will reveal how we have aligned to our own intentions, how we have become powerful co-creators in our life. And when I say that, it doesn't mean that you have to have a lot of money. It doesn't mean that you have to have a lot of time. I'm not talking about material resources to launch my project. I'm talking about the interior resources of knowing that I have, with my own mind and my own intention, all the power that I need or that I want or that I can extract from this physical plane in order to manifest the comfort, the joy, the friends, the laughter, and the love that I want to feel. So I hope that as you walk through this moon, you allow yourself to put yourself as a priority. You find the wisdom of purporting balance and harmony for yourself, and of really, I want to put you all on, wrap you all up in a cozy blanket and give you a good meal and tell you that you're loved. I think that's what's going on. So I hope that this helps you. Again, this is not normally how I do a full moon video, but there was just something that felt a little bit different about this final 7th moon. And having the exact time for me in the Pacific time zone reduced down to a 7 just felt like the cherry on the sundae that said, this is the direction to go with this video. So I hope you enjoyed it. Again, my name is Teri Hunter. I'm an intuitive astrologer, and I am here all the time. So I hope you'll come back to my channel and check it out. I'm going to get my April videos out. I've had a little bit of issues going on with my plumbing and leaks and things, but bear with me. Anyway, thanks so much for showing up. Thanks so much for liking, subscribing, hitting that notification bell. And if you have any questions or if you have any suggestions for videos that you would like to see, please let me know, because I'm starting to make a list because I really want to branch out and I want to broaden how we view astrology. I want to reach for the higher vibrations of the planets, and I want us to know how much they're supporting us, because oftentimes the planets that are considered the malefics are only considered difficult because they're asking us to dig deep into the truth of our own personal happiness versus the happiness we hope other people think we are. All right, everybody. Peace out.